we interrupt this broadcast to bring you a special news bulletin. Good evening, I'm Pat Dix. Tonight, we have several reports of unidentified flying objects disappearing and reappearing across the nation. Such phenomena are usually accompanied by large explosions. Here to explain these strange sightings, we have a smart-looking man dressed in a lab coat, so you know he's credible. Hello, I'm a scientist. Oh, the horror! Folks, if TV scientists are no longer safe, nobody is. Grab your wife, grab your scientists, and...
Yahoo! Dirty Dicks! Done that cheap! Dirty Dicks! Done that cheap!
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. My name is Keza, and welcome to another episode of Dirty Dicks Done Dirt Cheap. The show where I bring you Yugioh's equivalent to a $2 yo-yo. You're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs, end of the day, you're gonna have a cheap thrill. And so today I am bringing you my Springans deck profile. Springans is a new deck coming out of Blazing Vortex. It is the third in the series of decks that follow Dogmatica, Tri-Brigade, and now Springans, building on that sort of lore and world there. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into the deck profile, and then I'm going to show you a few games on how you expect to play and win with a cheap Springans deck. Let's get into it. So here is my Springans deck profile for Dirty Decks Done Dirt Cheap, episode Volume 2. Now the idea of a D4C deck is it's not going to be the most competitive build of things, but it's definitely going to be something that's one, cohesive, and two, it's going to steal some games, and three, you're going to be able to build it on the cheap. So starting off, we are going to have Psyframe Gear Driver, along with 3 Psyframe Gear Gamma. Now these got really cheap thanks to, I think, is it Maximum Gold or one of those other really recent sets. You can find them all in rare format, and they're only going to cost you like a couple of bucks each. Next up, we've got probably the most important card in the deck, 3 Springans Captain Sargus. Now this guy is a level 8, which you need for the level 8 XYZ, but more importantly, he turns all your Springans XYZs into a free pot. Next up, we've got Springans Branger. It's another level 8 Springans, but when you can banish it from the graveyard, you can add any Springans card from your deck to your hand. Next up, we've got 3 Springans Rocky, 1800 beta, and he's got the standard Springans effect of it being able to attach himself to a Springans XYZ you control. Next up, we've got 3 Springans Pedro Pascal. Springans Pedro Pascal. Tribute this card, target Springans monster in your graveyard, except Springans Pedro, special summon it. So that's going to allow you to bring back Captain Sargus from graveyard and things. Also quite importantly, that Pedro, along with Branger here, are both machine type monsters with other 500 attack, which allows them to work perfectly with machine duplication. Next up, we've got Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. Probably a bit better than Ash Blossom at the moment. There are so many decks which are graveyard reliant, and Ghost Bell and the Haunted Mansion is really cheap as well. Get them for like maybe $5 a copy if you're just going for the Dual Devastator version, which is all you really need. Then we've got those 3 Gammas we mentioned earlier. Next up we have 3 Springans Watch. Now this is like the reinforcement to the army of the deck here. So its effect, first effect, add 1 Great Sea Gold Gondola, that's the field spell, from your deck to your hand, but if you already control it, you can add 1 Springans monster from your deck instead, and then you can send a Springans from your graveyard, from your deck, to the graveyard. That's the way it goes. Which is really important because Springans can attach themselves from the hand, field, or graveyard to your XYZ, giving it more materials and more fuel to blow up. Next up we've got 2 Trade-ins, nice little common there. The 2 big Springans are level 8s, so this gives you a bit of draw power. 3 Machine Duplication, allowing you to get more than just 1 Springans on the field, so you can summon this properly without the need of the field spell. 1 Terraforming, field spell is the most important card in the deck. Foolish Burial, just sending more Springans to the graveyard, get more effects off, especially the Branger. Monster Reborn, bring stuff back because we're always discarding. 3 Great Sea Gold Gondola. Now, 2 really important effects. 1 gives all your Springans XYZs 1000 attack, so this guy goes from 1600 attack to a whopping 2/6. Really good. Then, its second effect, sorry, we'll go down to the field spell. Its second effect is you can discard any second effect, most important here, and the reason that you run it and how the deck completely functions at all. If you control no Spriggan's XYZ monsters, discard one Spriggan's card, special summon one Spriggan's XYZ from your extra deck, and face up. Bah. Blah. Let's try that again. Cut. Cool. Next up, we've got 3 Great Sandsea Gold Gondola, and this is the reason that the deck functions at all. It's got 2 very important effects then. First off, all XYZ Spriggan's monsters you control gain 1000 attack. That's great because this thing's only got 1600 attack, brings it up to a respectable 2-6. Its most important effect though, if you control no Spriggan's XYZ monsters, discard a Spriggan's card, that's any Spriggan's card, and you can special summon one Springans XYZ from your extra deck. So that allows you to cheat this to the field without the use of having to overlay materials there. And that's also why the Springans can attach themselves from hand, field or graveyard to give it more sort of XYZ material really. Next up we've got 2 Springans Blast. You control a Springans monster, choose a main monster zone your opponent controls. If a monster is face up in that zone during this turn, it cannot attack directly, also its effects are negated. So a bit of searchable monster negation in the deck, which is cool. Next up we've got Dogmatica Punishment. Bit of a weird card, but like I said, it is part of the Dogmatica sort of lore as it were. We've got 3 Spin the Iron Dash Dragon, which is the Spriggan's monster fusion monster, which is what they all have in common with Fallen of Albaz. And it also allows you to send it to the graveyard, pop a monster with 2/5 attack or less, and also get the added benefits there. And lastly, we've got Spriggan's Call. Target a Spriggan's monster or Fallen of Albaz in your graveyard, special summon it during the main phase. Except the turn it was sent to the graveyard. A little bit of a tweak there, but it's almost Call of the Haunted for the deck. So onto the extra deck now. We've got 3 Spin the Iron Dash Dragons. Most importantly, during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it's sent there this turn, you can add to your hand or special summon one Spriggan's monster or Fallen of Albaz from your deck. So it allows you to special summon the Spriggan's monsters from your deck to the field if you pop something. Next up we've got Omega, purely because we run Cyclone Gear Gamma, and a lot of the times, a lot of your Spriggan's cards are going to be banished, so you can bring them back here with Omega. We've got Dengetsu, which is some non-targeting removal, and also a rank 8 XYZ. Number 68 Xenophont, another rank 8 XYZ that can turn off the graveyard. 3 of your win conditions, Spriggan Ship Exablower. So you can choose one of your opponent's monsters or spell and trap card zones to detach any materials, and if you do, destroy the same number of cards your opponent controls in that chosen zone and its adjacent monster zones or things. So this is where attaching the materials is really good. So if you detach 3 materials, you can blow up 1 card and then the other 2, so that's 3 cards for the price of 1, and it's really great value, and it's how you control the game with this. You can also disappear off the field as well and bring him back to help protect him and give you more destruction next turn. And lastly, our linked monster of choice, Heat of the Fire Charmer Ablaze. So on summon, target 1 fire monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it. That's normally going to be Ash Blossom or something like that. It gives you more sort of like materials there. If this linked summon card is destroyed by battle or destroyed by an opponent's card effect while it's in its owner's monster zone, add 1 fire monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. So that's going to let you add stuff like Rocky to your hand. Yeah, literally going to add Rocky to your hand, which is a nice boost though. It's a nice boost. So with that, now that we've finished the deck profile there, let's get into some games and see exactly what the Spriggan's deck can do. So there we have it, duelists. I hope you've learned a bit more about Springans today, and I think we've shown a deck that can win a few games. It's not going to be against competitive decks, but it's definitely going to do something at your local hobby league. 2, is it fun to play? Heck yeah it is. Springans, little fire machines. And 3, is it affordable? Heck yes. A lot of the cards in the deck are commons or supers that your mates will probably even give you if you ask them nicely, alright? So I think that's enough to give this deck the D4C, boom, stamp of approval. But hey, thanks again heaps for watching, guys. It's great to bring you this sort of content. Hope you like it. Maybe chuck a like down below if you really do. I don't know, don't care really. I'm going to keep making videos no matter what. But once again guys, thanks for watching and take care and see you next time.